Friends, I'm just about exhausted with talking about Nicki Minaj in this Erika Kirk interview. But this interview has brought up so many different angles and conversations that I must cover it. And by the way, sorry for sunglasses, but I need them. So, welcome back to The Conservative Poet with me, Amania. Here is the conversation today, another whole angle. So this angle, if you will, they are literally trying to send back Nicki Minaj to, where she come from? Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago. They want her gone. There is a petition going around the internet. And from what I understand, over 45,000 signatures has been put on this here petition to oust Nicki Minaj. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to The Conservative Poet, friends. So I find it fascinating that they want to remove Nicki Minaj from the interior because all of a sudden she has these views that doesn't work for the Negro black, the Negro liberal, the Negro blackity black, and the Negro African black. So what I understand is this. Nicki Minaj wealth has come off of the backs of the Negro American, right? They are the ones who buys her music. Conservative people like myself don't buy her music because I don't want to be insulted, right? By, talks of, deep-throating it and, I don't know, riding it hard, and I think that's Megan Thee Stallion riding. Oh, God. But, my point is, I don't listen to it. It's not my thing. So they're saying that conservatives don't spend their money on music and musicians like Nicki Minaj. And so her money, her wealth has been made off of blacks, Negroes, who is okay with listening to degenerate music. And all that in itself is an insult. I'm just saying. All of that is an insult. They're saying that she should be ashamed of herself for coming out here to sit on the Turning Point USA platform and let them platform her as the queen of rap. Now she's trying to tell boys to be boys. Now she want to advocate for the Nigerian, for the Christian. And she want to say, black girls, you don't need to be intimidated by white women. So she's saying all of these things, which I have no problems with, by the way. I have zero problems with what she's saying now. What I do have a problem with is that her music was vulgar and I didn't listen to it. And so therefore I have not much to say in reference to, her credibility or anything. All I know is that redemption is real. And at this moment, she is showing herself looking for redemption. And so I think it's critically important to give her the benefit of the doubt to hear what it is that she has to say. So the blackity blacks, the Negro blacks, all of them, they have this petition. They want to return her because they feel she is ungrateful. And she's ungrateful, one, for getting her money from the black community. She's ungrateful, two, because she's an immigrant from another country. How dare you say that J.D. Vance is an assassin? And I want to clear this up right now because I've seen many commentators talk about, she threw this word assassin out to Erika Kirk, like, that's a Freudian slip or things like that. What I believe that she was saying, J.D. Vance is an assassin. He is an assassin with words. He will go and he will ravage you He ravages you with his words. And I think that's what she was saying. Tell me in the comments, do you agree? I don't think she was saying he's an assassin, like sending, things about Charlie Kirk out to Erika Kirk, or she was saying, that's how I picked it up then, and that's how I continue to pick it up. And she was saying, J.D. Vance, he is an assassin when he's having conversations, when he's eating up the left, when he's laying down the foundations, when he's coming at you, J.D. Vance style, cool and collective. Assassin. He's an assassin. And I get it, girl, I get it. But I wanted to throw that out there. So they're saying because she is out here saying good things about the administration, about President Trump, and being that the administration is removing all of the immigrants and they're getting them out of the country and all of this, and therefore she should be out too because she is not an American citizen. And okay, she's not an American citizen. From what I understand, she came here early on in her life. She was 5 years old when she came here with her parents. They came here illegally, from what I understand. And again, she was a dreamer baby, if you will. And same story with me. I came here as a dreamer baby. My mother, my family, they migrated here. My mother did legally, but she brought us in through other means. I don't want to get into all that now. But yeah, essentially, I was not here legally. And so it took a long time for me to get legal. But that's a different story for another day. So I do understand the whole Nicki Minaj, but she's legal now. She's not a citizen, but she is legal now. And just like me, I am legal. I am a citizen. And, things happen in life. It is what it is. And so we've corrected these mistakes and we move on. I mean, that's what it is. You move on. She's now a legal resident of the country, but though she is not a citizen. So the blacks who feel insulted by Nicki Minaj, who feel that she should be removed from the interior because she is not a citizen. And so this petition of over 45,000 people have signed this thing stating that they want her gone. They want the Trump administration to remove her. Well, and I guess she's looking to be like an honorary citizen or something like that, where because of all of the contributions she has made to the country, and so she can become a citizen. Like, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, there should be special programs for special people. And in this case, she's Nicki Minaj. She is a special person who the administration should say, hey, you know what? If you want to be a citizen of our country, you're advocating for Christians. You've, brought in a lot of money into our country and things like that, and you've been living in this country since you were 5 years old, maybe on and off. But yeah, we'll take you in as an American. You just got to pass your test. You got to take the test now. You got to take the test now. And you got to prove you love America. You got to do that. You got to prove you're a patriot. Then we'll let you become a citizen. Because that's what I had to do. I had to take the test. And because I loved America, it was no big deal. And because I learned American history, I could pass the test. So, yeah, you got to pass the test. You got to be able to pass the test in order to become a citizen. That's just my thing. You got to learn America and her foundations. You've got to learn her story. Because again, part of the reason so many people hate the country, including the born here Negro blacks, who call themselves, the foundational Negro, and their ancestors, even they don't know the story of America. Oh, America racist, America had slaves, America. Yeah, that's about it. There's so much more to American history than the stain of slavery. And again, friends, do we have to bring up the point once again that slavery didn't begin in America? Pharaoh, remember Pharaoh, the Egyptians? Yeah. I got a break from the sun right now. Pharaoh, the Egyptians, was the ones who started slavery. Pharaoh, the Egyptians, was the ones who started slavery. And so throughout our society, throughout history, many countries, people have been under the occupation of slavery. It didn't just start in America. Just saying. Why did we get on the topic of slavery? Because we were talking about the Negro blacks who wants to remove Nicki Minaj from the interior because she's not a citizen of this country. But you know something, friends? There comes a time when we must all look at who we are. When we're looking at our history, the American history, and we're seeing all of these things, all of these faults, all of these different things from the beginning of time, nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new. America didn't start slavery. It started way before America's birth. But it seems that the whole world has forgotten about other sins across the world. And they want to label America the only nation that has had slaves. And it's not. Black people weren't the only ones in slavery and in bondage, friends. Black people were not the only ones. And so learning our history is important. So for Nicki Minaj, she needs to know her history, not just the history of the slavery, but history in a robust way, so she understands everything there is to know about America. This was my point before we went into this slavery rabbit hole, is that if we don't learn American history and know American history, how can we love her? How can we love the country? We've got to know her with all of her faults, all of her flaws, all of her good comings, all of her bad comings, the whole shebang. And I can stand here before you today and say, as an American, as an immigrant American who migrated to this country first illegally, because I was brought here illegally, but I learned this country, and I am a huge patriot and advocate, fighting for our country, fighting for our flag, fighting for her freedom, fighting for freedom of speech, fighting for all of the truth that America stands for. I'm doing this. That is part of my work here on The Conservative Poet. And that's why I have a voice and a platform where I talk about American history, I talk about America, I talk about her faults, I talk about Black Americans, and I talk about immigrant Americans, because at the end of the day, we are all Negroes.